Man who lived next door to me, a man whose lawn was always trimmed to perfection, a man who believed that nature's beauty was best kept at bay by a ruthless blade. I had always admired the wildflowers that danced in our yard, the way the bees buzzed happily among the daisies, and the deer that occasionally graced us with its presence. But to him, my appreciation for nature was nothing but a sign of negligence. I remember the first time he yelled at me, spitting venomous words about how my unkempt lawn was ruining the neighborhood's image. I had just stepped outside with my partner and our little one, the sun shining brightly, when he stormed over, his face twisted with rage. "You need to mow that lawn or I will," he threatened, his fists clenched at his sides. I was taken aback, feeling a mix of anger and confusion. It was just grass. My mother, who was visiting, stood behind me, her face pale and her voice trembling as she tried to reason with him. But all she could manage was a meek apology, which only seemed to fuel his fire. That night, after I finally got our newborn to sleep, I heard a loud thud against the window. My heart raced as I rushed to see what had happened. To my horror, 2 children were giggling and throwing eggs at our home, a sight that made my blood boil. My partner confronted them, but they sprinted off, leaving me feeling helpless and furious. The next day, I decided I had enough. I wrote a note to the neighbor across the street, the one whose kids had been wreaking havoc. I expressed my disappointment and warned them about the consequences of their children's actions. But what really stung was when I realized how connected he was to the man next door. I knew that if I pressed charges, it would only escalate the tension. So, I wrote another note, this time to the angry neighbor himself. I pointed out that his constant harassment was not only unwelcome, but also unnecessary. I reminded him that my yard was my sanctuary, a place for my family to enjoy the beauty of nature. I made it clear that I would not be intimidated into conforming to his rigid standards. I felt a surge of empowerment as I sealed the envelope. I was no longer just a victim of his belligerence, I was standing my ground. The next day, I placed the notes on their doorsteps, my heart racing as I walked back to my home, ready for whatever would come next. I knew that this would not end the conflict, but I also knew that I could no longer allow this man to bully me or my family. I had found my voice, and for the first time, I felt in control of my life and my space. I was ready to defend my home, my family, and the wildflowers that made our yard unique.